Okay, let's try this again. I hope that this works out this time. Gotta love internet service. We actually kind of got lambasted by some ice this morning, so I'm not sure if that's what's messing with my internet service. So just bear with me. What I was trying to say before is that if for some reason I keep going in and out, I'm going to save the video and you can watch it later. So just bear with me. I'm sorry if it keeps going in and out. God love the internet, right? So I'm going to take a drink because I've been like, what do I do here? Okay, so I hope that you are all still with me. The thing that I'm going to talk about today is our caregivers. I wholeheartedly believe that being a caregiver of somebody that has a mental illness is the hardest job in the world. Loving somebody that has a mood disorder is probably one of the hardest jobs you will ever do, if that's the case. Whether it's your child, your spouse, anybody in your life that you take care of in their time of need. First of all, I would like to thank you. Hi, Amy. Hi, everybody. I hope that you guys can all hear me. But anyways, I want to give a huge shout out to my husband, who has never given up on me in my darkest moments. I don't think he ever really truly understood everything that I was going through, but he never made me feel bad for having a mental illness. And then my children, who are always have my back as well, they take good care of me when I'm hurting and when life just seems to be taking a toll on me. My kids are always there. My mother is really good. Sometimes she's the person that gives me the smack upside the head that I need. Caregivers are what makes a person with a mood disorder able to live. So thank you to anybody out there that is taking care of somebody with depression, bipolar, any mental illness. Thank you. The thing is that there are times when the caregiver can actually feel helpless and overwhelmed and confused as to what to do next. I can imagine it's pretty hard on the caregiver when, yesterday, now I'll take myself for example. Yesterday I was having a great day, and then the next day, I love you, Kendra. Does this keep getting interrupted, you guys? Just let me know if it is. I don't know if you can hear me or not. So, I know it takes a couple seconds for me to get the comments from you guys. So, should I just upload a video or shall we keep going on like this? Let me know what you guys think I should do. Okay, awesome. Feed is fine. Okay, so back to the caregivers. If you are taking care of somebody that has a mental illness, you also need to take care of yourself. Because the stress of taking care of somebody can really get to a person. One minute, your loved one is fine. The next minute, they're freaking out and wanting to die. And you're like, what the hell just happened? It's got to be confusing for somebody that doesn't live it. I can't imagine what you guys go through. And I want you to feel my heart when I say that as much as a person that has a mental illness needs to have support and they need to have somebody to talk to and all of that, you need to have somebody as well. You need to be able to reach out maybe to somebody that knows what you're going through. My husband is extremely helpful when it comes to being able to understand what he goes through. And so if any of you are caregivers out there and you need some help, and I am not helping you as much as I would like to, let me know, because if you send me a message, I can ask my husband a question and he can help us get through all of this. But there are some things that I want you guys as caregivers to know. First of all, your loved one's illness and mood disorder is not your fault. It is not the fault of the person that has the mental illness, and it's not your fault what they're going through. So when somebody is having a rough day and they're sad or mad or whatever, what you need to understand is it's not you. You are not doing any, I mean, you may piss us off in the middle of an episode, but the episode didn't begin because of you, if that makes sense. So you are not responsible for your loved one's episode. And neither is your loved one. They are not responsible as well. But you also can't make your loved one well. I know that's hard. It's hard because when we love somebody, we want to help them and we want them to be okay, and we want to fix them, right? You can't. You cannot fix somebody else. But what you can do is offer your support and your understanding and your hope. I always tell my girls one of the things that when they're feeling that they can't go through, make it through something, or they feel like I don't know where to go with this, and I know, because they're my girls, I know that they can make it through anything. One of the sayings that I always tell them is, when you don't feel that you have what it takes to make it through this next step in life, borrow mine. Borrow my faith in you. Borrow my love for you. Borrow mine. And saying that to somebody it really helps. It helps the person feel like they can make it through whatever it is they're going through, because you know what? Somebody else has faith in them, and I'll grab onto that, and I'll borrow that faith. So extend your faith to the person. You can't fix them, but you can offer them your support and understanding and hope. Also, each person that has a mood disorder experiences it differently than somebody else. My depression is not the same as the girl next door, her depression. My anxiety is not the same as my daughter Jalen has anxiety. Mine is not the same as hers. We have anxiety that comes out in different ways. We have different things that makes our anxiety heightened. So not everything is the same. I can give you advice on me, on what helps me. It may not help the person that you love, but try it. Trial and error. What you see your loved one going through and their symptoms and things like that. You know what? I always tell the person that has a mood disorder to keep a journal. Well, as a caregiver, you can keep a journal of what works for your loved one, the signs that you see that your loved one goes through perhaps before an episode hits, or signs that you see that your loved one is coming out of that episode. The more you understand about your loved one and their mental illness, the better off you and your loved one will be. And the best way to find out what your loved one needs is to ask direct questions. Don't, not so much as in, what can I do to get you over this? Well, we all know that you can't get your loved one over this. So, what would make you feel better right now? What, is there something that you need to eat? Is there somewhere that you need to go? Is there somebody that you want to talk to other than me? Direct questions and specific and at the moment. And there are things that you are going to need to find out so that you can care for your loved one. You are going to need to know your loved one's contact information for their doctor, for the therapist that they see, the psychiatrist, write down the local hospital's number, trusted friends and family members that can help in a crisis. There was a crisis in our family yesterday, and my family rocks. I've got to tell you, the person that was going through a rough time did not need to worry about anything at home per se, because our family has a crisis mode. So the second I got on the phone with my daughters and my husband and everybody, we had it worked out. The more you can do that for your loved one, and the less stress that they have to have in the midst of a crisis. You never know when somebody you love is going to have a crisis, especially with depression and anxiety, all of it, any mental illness. Have that system ready. Friends, family. You know, do you need to get kids from school? Who's going to take the kids if somebody needs to go to the hospital? Transportation. What hospital are they going to go to? Just have it all. All of it needs to go in a binder. Put it on your fridge if you need to. Just have it all ready for you, because that will make things go more smoothly for your loved one, but also for you as you're in the midst of the crisis. You also need to figure out what you need to do. I'm sorry, Kendra. I don't know what's going on with it. I think it's just hang in there. Like I said, I'm going to upload it so that if you missed half of it, you can go back and watch the rest of it. So, you may need to get permission from your loved one to be able to discuss with their doctors what's going on. If you don't have that permission, one, you will not get any information to be helpful to your loved one. And two, you will not be able to discuss with your doctor or with their doctor what they're going through. As a caregiver, you are the eyes and ears for your loved one to get better. You need to be able to know if you can talk to that doctor. Make sure that you have that permission. It's extremely important. I know that a lot of people think that if it's their child, well, I've got permission. They're under 18. That's not always right when it comes to the mental health field. So make sure that you find out if you need to have any paperwork filled out or anything like that. Also, you're going to need to know the treatment that your loved one is receiving, the medications that they take. My husband can tell you what medications I take, the dosage, and when I take them. And I know that sucks. And if you have to, write it down and put it in your wallet so that you have it at the ready. You should also know if there's been any change in their diet or in their activity. You know, just kind of keep that all, be their eyes and ears. And I know that this is a stressful job. It's the most important job. You can save a life by doing all of this. Also, as I was talking earlier, make sure you keep a journal so that you can figure out if an episode is coming, if an episode is worsening, if there's something new in the episode. Just journal it all until you kind of get it down. Make sure that you just have that at the ready if you need to go with your loved one to see a doctor. And then ask what kind of day-to-day things you can do to help. Not so much just for the loved one, but for their doctor. Their doctor may ask you to do something for them. I'm glad you started journaling, Kendra. It is awesome. I swear by it. I truly do. Always ask for clarification of something that you don't understand. There are a lot of big names that float around in the mental health field. Medications. The type of mental illness that your loved one has. Is it the same as this? Is it the same as that? Make sure that you ask for clarity of all of it. Because the more you know, the better you can take care of that person and the less stressed you're going to feel if you know what's going on. There are some things that you can say that can help your loved one. First one being, you're not alone. That's huge when somebody tells you that, especially when somebody isn't alone in their own mind, when you can tell them that they're not alone. I think that's probably one of the greatest things that I hear when I am hurting. Hi, Mrs. Canary. When I'm in an episode, I feel like I'm crazy. You know, I don't understand what's happening. Nobody understands what's happening, in all honesty. And when my husband tells me you're not alone, and he says it often, so it still, to this day, no matter how many times he says it, it still helps. So don't give up on saying you're not alone, no matter how many times your loved one has an episode. This next one that I'm going to say is huge. A lot of people think that mental illness is all in their head. It's fake. It's not real. It's not a real disease. You're just, I mean, come on, get over yourself. Seriously, people do that. To tell your loved one that you understand that this is a real illness will help that person tremendously. Because when you feel crazy, when you feel like the outside world is against you, and people are, the stigma around it is that, you know, you're crazy, you're making this up, it's not real. When somebody you love says, I understand you have a real illness, that is hands down the best thing somebody can hear, especially when they're hurting on the inside. Make sure that you say you're important to me and your life is important to me, and that you want them here. How about I'm here for you and we'll get through this together? It goes back to you're not alone, but you know, when you can take on the world with someone you love, whether it be your your soulmate, or your parent, when you can take on the world with another person, that helps a lot. Please avoid saying things like it's all in your head. It's true. It is all in our head. And I get that. But it's not something that we can control. And then if you can not say, we all go through times like this or something like this. Yes, there are times that people are hurting and they're sad, but not everybody goes through depression episodes. Not everybody goes through anxiety. Not everybody goes through a manic episode. So avoid saying everybody goes through this at some point in their life, because it really isn't true unless you have a mental illness. You will be fine. Stop worrying. No. It's true. We may be fine. But now you've got us worrying that you're mad and that, what's wrong with me? I'm not stopping. I can't stop worrying. What's wrong with me? So now you've added to what that person was feeling bad about in the first place. You have so much to live for. Why do you want to die? For a person that's depressed, they know. They know they have so much to live for, and they know that, there should be absolutely no reason as to why they want to die. That doesn't make it any better. And it doesn't make the episode go away. It exacerbates what the person is feeling. Because now they're feeling guilty because they have so much to live for. So you're just adding and adding and adding. Just snap out of it. That one used to drive me nuts. I don't hear it so much anymore. I've heard people say, well, I can't help you. You can't make my episode go away, but you can be there for me. That's how you help me. So there are things that you can say and things to avoid. Just be mindful of what you're saying to your loved one. And I know that when a person is in an episode, one of the things you're wondering is, how long is this going to last? How long is she going to be like that? And I get that. Because episodes can last anywhere from a day to months, years, in fact. I will tell you that a person that is receiving help and working on everything that they need to be working on, it will get better. I can't give you a time period for an episode. I can't give you a time period for my own. What I can tell you is that most people respond rather quickly to medications and the counseling and things like that. Although there's going to be trial and error. A medication may not work at first. A medication, you may need to change medications, and those are things that you guys can do to help your loved one be able to get better quicker, is by realizing that these things aren't working for them. So some people stabilize quickly. Others, it takes some time. It took me a while to figure out which medications work best. And be the support that your loved one needs. And just have patience. Patience is key. If you're worried about how long a person is in an episode, the person that's in the episode is worrying about it just as much. So just remember that. This is going to sound crazy, but I know that I would rather be the person that's having the episodes than the person that has to care for that episode. Because your guys' job it's hard. If you're caring for somebody that has a mental illness, you're an angel. You're an angel to the person that is suffering. And there's going to be times that you just can't take anymore. Just go out. You know what? You need to have a support system too. You need to be able to lash out, just not at the person that's going through the episode. You need to be able to go outside and scream and care for yourself. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope on your loved one, and don't give up hope on yourself. You may feel that you're not making a difference in your loved one's life, but you are. You are, by just being there, sometimes by just listening, by not leaving, by not making us feel crazy. You're making a difference. Treatments do work. And don't give up hope on that. Keep working with your loved one and their healthcare field, or their healthcare workers. The more proactive you are, and the more understanding, and the more you are versed in everything that your loved one normally goes through, will be of tremendous help, because it'll help them get better faster. Just keep reminding your loved one that you are there. And then when there are good days for your loved one, they'll give that love back. And when there are good days, when your loved one makes your dinner, or there are good days and your child takes the garbage out without problem, it makes it all worth it. We know how much you're doing for us, and we know how much you're trying when you do. You are angels on this earth, and God bless you for everything that you do for all of us in the times that we can't do it. Bear with us, and we'll bear with you. Because once we get this all figured out, and as in myself, I've suffered with depression for so many years, and once I got it figured out and know the ins and outs of my own illness, I love the good days. The good days are really good, because we know that the bad days can be really bad. But you getting us through that, angels on earth, that's all I can say. So thank you to all the caregivers out there. If you're a woman, get yourself a spa day for taking care of your loved ones, your children, and, maybe your husband that has a mood disorder, or your child that has a mood disorder. If you're a woman, go out and give yourself a spa day. Get your hair done. Get your nails did. And if you're a man, you know what? Go out and buy a new part for your truck, or treat yourself to something. Because those of us that know that you're there for us, we know that you deserve it. So thank you to all of you that care for us in the hard times. It's worth it. It's worth it when we all get better, and when we have good days. God bless you. God bless you for being there. And again, thank you to my husband and my girls and their significant others in their lives. Because without you, I never would have made it through the bad days. And I hope that you understand that on the good days, I get it. I get how much you did for me. I love you. And to all the caregivers out there, you are amazing. You kick butt. You deserve the world. Thank you. And for everybody else, don't you dare ever forget that your story isn't over.